I wanted to make a video so that you can see a little bit more about who I really am as a person. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who will tell you that you can't do something. And I feel that I'm somewhat of an underdog when it comes to internet marketing, when it comes to achieving any sort of success. Because when I first started seeking to make an income from home online in 2008, I had a lot of people tell me that I couldn't do it, that I wouldn't be successful at it, that I should give up, that I shouldn't even try. But deep down inside was a desire, burning harder and hotter than anything that was telling me at the time that I couldn't do something. And even though it was a hard struggle, I persisted, I learned, I sought after knowledge, I did everything that I possibly could to learn everything that I possibly could about internet marketing and about driving traffic, about business. I went to LDS Business College and studied business there, especially in the area of entrepreneurship. And I really felt like I had finally found a place there where I was around a lot of like-minded individuals who believe in entrepreneurship. And I started to recognize more and more that so many of us have been trained and skilled to become workers for a company, but not really start something that could benefit people, to look for people's problems that they were having and fill in solutions for them. And so that's where, as I was struggling as an internet marketer starting out, not knowing how to do certain things like send visitors to my website, I started to recognize that this was a common problem for a lot of people. And that's when I said, you know what? I want to make something for these people that they can get traffic to their websites. I was also at the time very much involved in clicking on pay-to-click websites, and a lot of these pay-to-click websites were scams. And so I saw a problem that these pay-to-click websites out there that were ripping people off were causing people to want to find a legitimate way to earn by clicking on ads. And so seeing these two problems that a lot of people have is driving traffic to their websites and finding a legitimate, honest pay-to-click website, I said, you know what? I see a problem there. I want to provide a solution there too. And I remember when I first launched my first pay-to-click website, I had originally my own list that I had been generating. I invited them to come and join because it was meant to be a team building type of a site to help my team grow and market and build their downlines. And I remember early on, people that were out there in the pay-to-click industry early on started saying, don't join his site, he's a scammer. That was before anyone knew anything about me. And of course I recognized that there were already a lot of pay-to-click scams, and I knew that. And that's where I was trying to stand out and deliver something better than what was already out there. So I felt, okay, this is going to be an uphill battle, but I'm going to prove people, I'm going to show people who I really am through time. And through time, I felt that I had proven myself as being someone who's honest, legitimate. And when I say something, it works out exactly the way that I say that's how it is. Because I've always been transparent and honest in the way that I am. Now, that's when a number of people said, hey, look, Charles, we know that you're an honest person. Can you please release for us another pay-to-click website for us to earn from? And so I did release another pay-to-click website, Infinity Bucks. And the hate that came because I was releasing something good for people. The rumors of people saying, oh, look, just another scammer, releasing multiple pay-to-click websites because he's paying off debt to a previous business or something like that. And, just seeing that kind of a thing, it was like, I can't believe that these people are trying to smear me as a good person. Because I know in my heart that I'm a good father, that I'm a good example for those that are around me. I'm a hard worker. Before coming online, I was one of the best workers at Select Health. And I know that people there were also jealous of me, I think, because I was consistently ranking among one of the top 3 individuals in my call center and in my team, and there were people who had been working there a lot longer than me who weren't getting the high quality scores like I was getting, who weren't able to answer the number of calls that I was able to answer. And I look at all of that kind of a thing and just think, I'm just trying to do my best in this world. I'm just trying to give people a good experience. I'm trying to give people a good service. And that's how I approach my customer service before that, even working for T-Mobile customer support. And so what I'm basically just saying is, for me, I feel like an underdog because I don't come from a background of being completely knowledgeable. I'm not a guru. I just started out and just said, you know what, I'm going to try to learn a little bit more. I'm going to try to be a little bit better. I'm going to try to advance myself just a little bit more. And along the way, I've had people say, you can't do it, you can't succeed, you won't be able to be successful. And then when I become a little bit successful, there's people saying, look, people, everyone stay away from him, everyone stay away from him, everyone stay away from him. And it's been that way many stages along the way through as I release something, as I try to improve in some way. And what really is the most difficult thing for me to read is for someone to try to say that I'm a scammer. Because through my whole experience on the internet, whenever I sell anything to anyone, and this goes directly with my own personal referrals that I bring into the opportunities that I'm the owner of or any other opportunity that I'm promoting, I've always told people what it is that they're going to be getting and how the compensation works. As clear as day. And I also focus not just on what they're buying, but if they want to earn an income, I try to help them know that it comes from doing more than just sitting there and doing nothing. Now I know that there's companies out there like ACN, and I was talking with one of the leaders of ACN just recently, and he was explaining that there's, if you type in ACN and you'll see scam next to it. And it's because people do get involved in business opportunities, who are not dedicated towards their own success. They might have paid into their own business and purchased their business package or whatever it is with ACN and try to get started, but then they didn't earn a lot of money, and so they gave up. They heard the people telling them, you can't do it, you won't be successful, and they believed them, and they quit, and they said, you know what, I wasted my money on getting involved in this business opportunity, whatever it was. But the truth is, it might have been a waste in some way, but hopefully they can take that as a learning opportunity to recognize that they can do something if they want to. They have to be able to start doing things that they've never done before for them to achieve things that they've never achieved before. And that's what I started to really recognize, delving into the secret, the law of attraction, how business works, and how to attract customers. And one of the things I really liked hearing was Sir Richard Branson talking about, customers and why he feels customers come back and utilize his services, the things that he's offering, is because he feels that he's giving customers a good experience and that he's providing a good quality product or whatever it is that he's offering, and that people have that good experience, they enjoy what they had, and then they come back because to them virgin in their minds means quality and a good experience. And that's what I look at with what I do and what I put together. One of the things that I look back over the years is through all of the hate, my own personal experience with advertising and many other people advertising on the websites that I have released, they've always come back and said, you know what, Charles, bar none, what you've offered has given me the best results from any other advertising website that I've promoted on. And that to me is rewarding. I mean, to me, that's the most rewarding thing, is that when a customer comes back to me and says, thank you, that was amazing service that you offered me. I'm going to come back again and again and again because what you've given me is exactly what I've been trying to get anywhere else. Now, I know that there's a lot of marketers out there who use a lot of different resources, and if you're involved in internet marketing, I would always recommend that you use as many resources as you can. Now, I know that through business, any business owner out there in the entire world who has started out in business, they have struggled, they've met challenges, they've tried to overcome those challenges, and they keep pushing forward. And, you look at people like Sir Richard Branson or Donald Trump or Robert Kiyosaki, these people that stand out the most in our minds, look back in their history and you can see struggle. You can see that they, at the very early stages, they might not have known fully what they were doing, but through time and development, they honed their skills. And that's what I look at with my own personal business history. When I launched that first pay-to-click website, I understood the math behind it because I knew how to discover at that time a pay-to-click website that wasn't able to pay. I could understand that you can't reward people in earnings more than the cash that you've already received. I mean, that's a Ponzi, right? And that's what I recognized with a number of these pay-to-click websites, is that they were telling people that they were able to earn more than what the advertisers were actually spending in advertising. So when I put together my own websites for pay-to-click, that's how I developed the advertising packages, is I had to divide up evenly. If someone paid for advertising, divide that up to the clicks that the person earned when they clicked on it and the referring sponsor when their referrals clicked on it. And it needed to be sustainable completely because I wasn't going to reward out more money than I actually had. And that was one of the things that, as I saw people make these accusations to me that I was in some sort of debt, that was completely false. And the thing that really was hard for me as a challenge as an entrepreneur in my early stages, I didn't understand fraud. That was just the case. I didn't recognize how big of a widespread issue that is within the income industry as a whole on the internet. People all over the world, in every country, it's not just specified for one country or another. But there are fraudsters all over the world who are looking for these income opportunity sites that they can make a quick and easy buck with and kind of move on to the others. I mean, they're vultures. That's what they are. And if they aren't getting from you what they want, then they also are part of the group that tries to spread a lot of false and nasty rumors about you. And so if you have this person who is cheating or using some kind of a bot or something like that, clicking on ads on your website, and you're a pay-to-click owner, then all of a sudden, if there's not a whole lot of positive things out there about you and about your website, their loud voice starts to spread, especially if you start banning more of these people who are essentially cheating you of your website. But not just you, but the advertisers, because these advertisers, they're spending money on a service to get exposure to their websites. And if those buyers are only getting visitors from cheaters who are using multiple bot clickers and things like that, and 1,000 visitors get used up and they're all fake people, then how much value does that service really hold? And so that's what I always focus on, is finding the cheaters, getting those people off the website, and catering to providing the best possible service to the people who are buying the services. And then that way you'll always have the instant payouts, because then you'll have the funds that are completely divided up from the purchases of these advertising buyers. And looking at that, it's kind of sad, because the people who took advantage of your website, exploited some kind of security hole, or they were able to find a way through and create multiple accounts and things like that. They exploited some kind of earning, and then they turn around because you found them, you blocked them, and now they say, you know what, you're a scam. And that keeps away good, legitimate buyers. That keeps away good, legitimate earners who want to use your service. And so it turns it into more like, again, kind of an underdog type of a situation where there's a lot of negativity out there, but actually the good, positive people, generally, it's kind of interesting in human nature. If you're having a good, positive experience, you don't talk much about it. You don't go out there and start to spread it. It's interesting when someone is able to spread a lot more negativity and get more attention that way, then they were able to try to get referrals legitimately and spread a good thing about a good company and actually get real referrals. Now, I know that people don't really fully understand how all of that works, and how there's a lot of the people out there involved in anything that wants to call it or cry scam or whatever and start forming rumors. It's because of a number of things like jealousy. They don't like anyone else experiencing success. And if you think about it, with my pay-to-click websites, I stood out and said, don't join the scams, come join us. And then the scammers are basically turning around saying, well, then don't join him either. Because now they're losing their bottom line. They're losing the money that they were making. Illegitimately, of course. They were scamming people. But if they could try to make me look like a scammer, then they would keep customers away from me. But the bottom line of what it was that I was trying to do at the very beginning is release something that was legitimate. Because I saw a problem of people who were releasing scams and taking advantage of people. And I was one of them. I was taken advantage of. And I said, you know what? This just has got to stop. Someone's got to release something that's actually really good. And that's what I look at with revenue sharing programs in general, is a lot of revenue sharing programs released pseudo advertising services. And so I wanted to actually release something that had good quality advertising services. That was a big goal for me. So when I released Ad Hit Profits, it was going extremely well. And there were a number of people who recognized the services were really good, but there were some people who were joining for the wrong reasons. They heard how much money people were making that were involved in my business opportunity, and they weren't even using the services that they were buying. And so with these people that were coming to buy service, even though it was among the top performing services in the industry, and I would even dare say probably the world, there were a number of people who were just there for that short term because they jumped from new program to new program to new program. And so when you get a bunch of people who are jumping into a new thing and then leaving, that's going to cause a noticeable impact on revenues. And as they were leaving, what was the thing that they wanted to do? They wanted to kind of cause an exodus among all of the people who were members of Ad Hit Profits to come and follow them into their next business opportunity, that next new thing. And sadly, it did cause people to go over there, and what happened then is there was a reduction of incoming revenues for ad purchases because people were spending their money somewhere else. And that's not a big problem. I wasn't scamming people, but when people notice a reduction in the amount of revenues that they're receiving, their minds do start to feel that something is wrong and that they look at me and say that I was doing something. But that's not the case. But with these people that were out there spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt with people and spreading rumors and trying to make people feel that I was some kind of a scammer and to stay away from me and all of this, then those types of campaigns had some success to them, which also caused revenues to drop even more. Because people weren't buying services with us anymore on Ad Hit Profits. And so with more people purchasing less, that caused less revenues to be available to share. I took my personal income that I earned legitimately through referral sales and said, you know what, I'm going to use this to bolster, to kind of boost up the amount of revenues that were being shared with people. But instead of people turning around and saying, you know what, Ad Hit Profits isn't over. I see that we're still sharing in revenue. Let's place some focus back into Ad Hit Profits. Instead of anything like that, what I was expecting and hoping to see, it caused people to say, I'm glad it's still paying. Take out as much as you can before it stops. Now, what people don't realize is that Ad Hit Profits has never stopped paying. Never. We've always shared the revenues that we have coming in. And one of the payment processors that we received payments from was Easy Bonds. And Easy Bonds ended up stealing all of the money that we received from them. And there's a number of people who made purchases using Easy Bonds who've been promised a refund by Easy Bonds, and Easy Bonds hasn't fulfilled that promise to them at all. And it's been over 2 years since they made that payment, and those people have already said, you know what, I'm not going to get that money back. But Easy Bonds did a real good number on trying to spread even more rumors about me and about my business model. They tried to say that I was running a Ponzi or a pyramid scheme, but the truth is the State of Utah Securities Division and Consumer Protection came and investigated my business, and they found that I wasn't running an investment opportunity. I wasn't committing any kind of securities fraud. And they also checked and found and made sure that I wasn't running a pyramid scheme. And so Ad Hit Profits is still running today. It's never had any problems with payouts. The advertising services are good. They've been better before when we had a lot more members that were involved in Ad Hit Profits, but I've never run away from Ad Hit Profits. It's still there. And if anyone feels that they were scammed by Ad Hit Profits or by me because of Ad Hit Profits, it basically just means that they didn't understand what they were buying, that the service that they selected to pay for, they might not have recognized that they received it, and there's never been any kind of income guarantee, ever. Because I know, as an entrepreneur, and as an experienced employee as well, is that your income is really based upon your own effort. And when you read within an income disclaimer on a lot of different sites, results aren't typical and blah, 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 what that basically means is the typical person who gets involved in a home-based business opportunity statistically doesn't put the necessary effort into that business to take ownership of that business and to drive forward and to really become a true entrepreneur, a true business owner. The typical person is very much more passive about their business pursuits. And so if their passive activity doesn't generate for them large amount of riches and money and a whole big change of lifestyle, then they do start to say, you know what, it's a scam. But it's not a scam, because Ad Hit Profits, if you sell Ad Hit Profits services, you're going to get paid every single time. The service is real. It's given to people. Real advertising credits, real visitors are generated. And then as you share in revenues, or if you earn those commissions, you're going to have a balance in your account. And when you request to be paid, you really get paid. So how can that be a scam? If what you pay for, you actually receive, and what you earn, you actually receive. So that is where I look at and say, how can anyone claim that I'm a scammer? You know, it just doesn't make sense, because every time someone has made a purchase from me, they're receiving exactly what they have selected to pay for. So now that Traffic Monsoon has been released, a little bit over 6 months ago, actually 7 months ago now, there's now a lot more popularity about something else that I've released. I feel like it came from a hard place of getting started. It was very difficult to get out there and say, hey, this is something new that I'm releasing. The thing that I felt was really amazing for me is a lot of the people that have known me over the years through the pay-to-click websites and through Ad Hit Profits, they say, you know what, Charles, we want to join this because, you know what, we know that you're a hard worker, we know that you're transparent, we know that you're honest. And the people who really have gotten to know me over the years, it was just for them a no-brainer. Yes, we know we're going to get what we're buying, and we know that you're going to work hard for us, and we know that these services are going to be good. You know, because they've had that experience with me. But there's some of these other people who haven't had experience with me, and as they Google search me or trying to find more information about me, they're going to find the people who have been the scammers out in the industry. You know, when Ad Hit Profits was during, you know, the biggest boom in history that I've ever seen, there were definite businesses that were scammers, like the high yield investment plans. They struggled to compete with Ad Hit Profits. So I know that that's a huge criminal industry. You know, lots of scammers, lots of hackers, you know, very, very skilled hackers, which were able to get into Solid Trust Pay and manipulate their system and cause a huge amount of money to come through, and had to be reversed through Ad Hit Profits. So I look at this kind of a history. The people that are out there speaking negatively against me are most likely people who are either scammers themselves, cheaters that have been banned from my websites, or they are people who purchase services from me that didn't even know what they were buying. They didn't read the website. You know what I mean? They didn't listen or watch any of the videos that I released. They didn't attend any of the webinars. They didn't attend any of the presentations to be able to know what exactly is being offered, for them to make that decision to say, you know what, I see what's being offered here. It's traffic for home-based businesses. I'm involved in a home-based business. I can buy that traffic. You know what I mean? So if people are just buying traffic without anything to send traffic to, then who's really scamming them? They scam themselves because they bought something that they didn't want. You know, it's like going to the store and buying milk and saying, you know what, I didn't really need milk. I want to take this back. And if the store says, sorry, we're not going to take back your milk, then did the store scam them? No, it didn't. They bought the milk. They chose the milk. They pulled it off of the counter. They went to the checkout line. They bought the milk. And that's how I feel about people who buy services from me, like on AdHit Profits, if they say they've been scammed by AdHit Profits. No, they didn't, because they went through the menu options. They selected the services that they wanted to buy. They went to checkout. They completed that purchase through the payment processor, came back to the website, and had that service on their account. So did they get scammed? No, they didn't. That's the way I just keep looking at it, is how can people, intelligent people, claim that they've been scammed when they've received exactly what they paid for, and anyone who's earned anything from me has been able to withdraw that money without a problem. Now, there's only been a couple of situations in my whole online career of any kind of problems, and one was when I lost PayPal, and I couldn't pay people through PayPal because, you know, that was a situation where if they've frozen your funds, you can't touch them, right? And that just, to an intelligent individual, makes sense. To me, it makes sense. To a lot of people, it made sense that they couldn't get paid through PayPal anymore. You know, I've seen other businesses like Paidverts or My Traffic Value. They lost their PayPal, but still they have people say, hey, how do I get paid with PayPal? It's like, come on, be intelligent people. Be intelligent. If the business no longer can have a business relationship with PayPal, they can't pay you through PayPal. Now, when Payza lost their credit card processing, and I didn't have those funds from PayPal yet, and people were withdrawing only through Payza, I didn't have sufficient funds to cover everyone's earnings that were inside PayPal inside my Payza. Payza was a lot smaller than what was inside PayPal. So I had to wait for those funds to be released. And so when all of that was completed, I was able to then catch up with all the payouts, but already all those rumors and people spreading around that I was a scammer, those were already out there, which wasn't true. It was just waiting on those funds to come from PayPal. And you can see this. Back in 2011 was the first time that I saw anyone in any kind of forum saying that Charles Scoville's pay-to-click websites aren't paying or something like that. It's like, well, that's because I lost PayPal. People, that's why. You know, I'm waiting on those funds to come in. But then when everything got caught back up, did anyone notice? No. For some reason or another, all they could focus on was that time frame that I wasn't able to pay because I was waiting on those funds from PayPal. But then when everything was all set up and paying out instantly, the next problem is Payza, and you can Google search this, is that Payza had all of their funds that were held by account holders in the United States, because all of the United States account holders had their funds actually being stored in OboPay. And OboPay lost their transmitter licenses for money, the money transmitter license, and so the U.S. Department of Justice seized all that money because they were holding on to it illegally. And so they were explaining that they're going to be helping people that lost that money and get it back. And so during that time, I couldn't pay anybody through Payza because Payza didn't even have that money. And I've posted screenshots on the internet that shows, look, I do have that money. It's frozen. It was actually taken away from me by the Department of Justice in the United States, and that was back November of 2013. And nothing has even happened with that yet. Those funds still haven't been released. And so when everyone spread all these rumors, don't use these websites and people weren't getting paid because the funds were seized, I didn't turn on other payment processors for people to send more money and try to keep up with withdrawals using new money coming in. I wasn't going to have that kind of a situation. I wasn't going to. I was waiting for the actual funds that I had available in PESA to be returned to me from the United States Department of Justice. But when those funds didn't come and my members weren't using the website and it had been 6 months, nobody was logging in, I was realizing, you know what? There's no need to even keep these sites open. I don't have the money and I don't have the members, so why am I paying for the hosting? So I went ahead and just closed down the websites. And at the time, I think there was no negativity. No one was blaming me for any of the problems with the pay-to-click websites because the news on the websites contained the full explanation of what was going on. Now, there were a couple of people that did message me on Facebook and said, hey, why didn't you just back up the earnings from your own earnings somewhere else? And it's because all of my earnings that I had elsewhere was backing up other earnings inside AdHit Profits when Easy Bonds stole all of the money. So it really is one of those things where I say, you know what, there's a lot of people out there who are going to kick you down, who are going to tell you you can't do it, who are going to see that you're starting to become successful and then tell people to stay away from you. And then, all these things along the way, you can overcome those things. And that's the way I feel about myself, is I can overcome this. I can just show people who I really am. And that's what my intention is with this video, is to at least show you who I am behind the scenes. I'm not some evil crook that some people try to make me sound like. I am just an ambitious entrepreneur seeking to supply solutions to people's problems, whether it be to find something that's legitimate that they can get involved with and actually really rely on their earnings, that they can get paid what they deserve, or provide them a service that takes care of a problem like, how do I get traffic to my website? And be able to deliver the most quality service that I could possibly provide. That comes back to, weeding out the cheaters, weeding out the fake clickers, and all of that does start to cause those cheaters and malicious people just to go to the forums and go to the internet and try to smear something because they've been caught doing something wrong. And they know it. But if they can make me look bad, then they win. That's their warfare against me. If you think about it that way. I ban them, they turn around and say, you know what, that guy's a cheater, scammer, he's going to steal your money, blah, blah, blah. No, these are people who are criminals. So who are you going to believe? I have no criminal history. I don't get when I go driving, I don't speed. I don't get tickets. I don't have a criminal background. Or are you going to believe these people who are anonymous in forums who do likely have a criminal background, who are just criminals? That's the way I look at it anyway. And I hope that I can at least help you know a little bit more about me, is at least the business background, and that it helps answer some of your questions. Thanks for your time watching the video.